Hey guys, we're here with our NPL Season 5 Draft Analysis video. Yes, it's another season in the NPL. Very excited to get started. It's been a while. Let me start from the beginning. It's been a while since we have uploaded to this channel. I just have been swamped with school and work, have not had the time nor the motivation to upload anymore. I'm going to do my best to try to do weekly uploads for the NPL. Maybe we'll do bi-weekly. Maybe we'll just do something at the end of the season. I don't know. But I did at least want to do my draft analysis video for something very exciting outside the NPL. So if you guys did not know, I am a huge Denver Broncos fan. Have been ever since I was born. My dad was. All that fun stuff. But Akki VGC, Mr. Akki VGC, the coach of the Portland Crowbats, another coach in the NPL, is a huge Philadelphia Eagles fan. So when the Broncos went to Philadelphia to play the Eagles back this last November, me and Akki had a side bet going on that when the Broncos won, he would have to wear a Broncos jersey for his NPL analysis video. So I just wanted to put that out there that that's what he's going to be doing, and I'm very excited for... Okay, hold on, what? Right. Okay. Oh. Okay. Yeah, got it. Wonderful. Okay.
Eagles will improve to 8-1 with this victory.
Fly, Eagles, fly, on the road to victory. Fight! Fly, Eagles, fly, score a touchdown, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Hit 'em low, hit 'em high, and watch Akki's Eagles fly. Fly, Eagles, fly, on the road to victory. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles! I still got Celesteela. Alright, so the first thing we drafted for NPL Season 5 was Bebop, our Celesteela. We did have the 9th overall pick this season, which was able to land us Celesteela. What's really cool about Celesteela is it only has 2 weaknesses to fire and electric, which are really easy to patch up with my later round picks. And that ability Beast Boost, which what it does is anytime I kill something, I get a +1 to whatever stat is my highest stat. And because I do have attack, defense, special attack, and special defense stats that are so close together, I could really craft Celesteela to be anything I want it to be. Physical attacker, special attacker, physically defensive, special defensive, backed up by a decent 97 HP stat, and a nice low-mid speed tier with 61. That's going to be really nice. Really, the only bad thing about Celesteela is its recovery is kind of lackluster. Its only forms of recovery are Rest, Leftovers, and Leech Seed, which Leech Seed is its most quote-unquote reliable. But, I mean, you know, it's not Recover or Roost or anything like that, so, but we can make it work. Stab, Heavy Slam is going to be doing a ton of damage because Celesteela is one of the heaviest Pokemon in the game. Stab Air Slash, Stab Flash Cannon for special capabilities. Gets the possibility of setup with Autotomize. And some really cool coverage moves like Earthquake, Energy Ball, Fire Blast, and Flamethrower, Giga Drain, Grass Knot, Rock Slide / Stone Edge, Superpower, and Zen Headbutt. Overall, I think we're going to be able to bring out the good defensive capabilities and offensive capabilities that Celesteela does provide to our team. Excuse me. In addition to being able to patch up the 2 weaknesses that it does have to fire and electric, which we actually go ahead and start to do with our next pick. I'm trying to find my volume thing. There it is. Hi. Hello. Hi. With our next pick, which is the return of Nettlebane, our Mega Venusaur, back all the way in NPL Season 2, if you did not know. Mega Venusaur led our squad to 10-2, a playoff berth in our first NPL season, and one MVP of Season 2 as well. This thing is so bulky. With that ability Thick Fat, that takes away the ice and fire weakness that Mega Venusaur would typically have. Its weaknesses are now only flying and psychic, which Celesteela does resist. Really, the only bad thing I could say about Mega Venusaur is that its offensive move pool is a little bit lacking in terms of special offense, because its special attack is higher than its physical attack. So that's typically what I'll be running. You're pretty much limited to Grass Stab, whether it be through Giga Drain or Leaf Storm or Energy Ball, whatever, and Sludge Bomb. That's about it for its special move pool. Obviously Hidden Power, of course, as well. But it does have a kind of surprising physical move pool as well, with Stab Pedal Blizzard, Earthquake, Knockoff, Outrage, and even Swords Dance is set up. Some really interesting support moves, things like Toxic Synthesis, Leech Seed, and Sleep Powder, probably being the most notable. So I think Venusaur is going to be a very interesting Pokemon to use this season. We have used it in the past and we were very successful with it, and I feel like we built a really solid team around Mega Venusaur Celesteela. I still think NPL Season 2 was the best draft I've ever drafted and will probably ever will be. But I feel like this is pretty close. I'm very hyped about this draft. I think it was very successful and I think it went very well. So Venusaur Celesteela is a really good pair, and they can go really nicely with our next mon as well, which was, I don't need to click on Showdown, I need to click here, which was Permafrost, our Mamoswine. Ice Ground is a virtually unresisted stab, other than Levitating Ice resists, most notably. But the flying types that typically check ground types are now weak to ice. Stab Icicle Crash and Stab Earthquake is so hard to switch into, which puts a lot of pressure on my opponents to draft Mamoswine checks and bring like hard dedicated Mamoswine walls, which takes away from their ability from that mon to be able to do something else. For example, a very high reason I wanted Mamoswine on my team is because we were crazy enough to allow Naganadel this season, and that Stab Ice Shard priority pressure is going to be so useful, because it essentially just stops Naganadel from getting speed boost in its track, when I could just hit it with a Stab Ice Shard that won't care about its speed boosts. Mamoswine is also our first rock setter, so we do have that, the possibility of hazards now. Some decent offensive coverage moves, most notably Knockoff, Iron Head, Stone Edge / Stealth, or Stone Edge / Rock Slide, and Superpower are probably its most common offensive. What's the word I'm looking for? Coverage. Thank you. Another interesting move that people commonly run on Mamoswine is Freeze Dry, which does prevent water types from switching into the Ice Stab. Its special attack is a little bit lackluster, but it does catch a lot of water types off guard. Different forms of Ice Stab, whether it be through Icicle Crash, Ice Fang, Ice Shard, or Icicle Spear. I think Mamoswine is going to be really good offensively this season. That Thick Fat ability makes it so that where the ice typing for Mamoswine would typically be weak to fire is now neutral to it, and the ground typing is immune to electric. So this is another really good pair with Celesteela. In addition to Venusaur resisting the fighting, grass, and water weaknesses that Mamoswine brings, and Celesteela resisting the Steel Stab, we do have switch-ins to all of Mamoswine's weaknesses, barring non-thick fat fire types. Where Mamoswine is not thick fat, and we're switching into a fire type. Like, we face a Mold Breaker fire type, game over for us right now. But that's okay, because we do have more picks coming up this. We have 8 more picks to make that we can patch up that quote-unquote weakness. The next mon on this team that we drafted is going to be Ralph, our Dragonite, who is going to be one of our Z users this season. The way Z crystals work this season is that we draft 1 from tiers 1, 2, or 3, and 1 from tiers 4 or 5 that can use any Z move in the game that are not Omni boosting. So Z Holt Hands is banned, Z Trick or Treat is banned, Comomium Z is banned, things like that. And I think the only other restriction is that Munium Z is banned. 134 attack stat is definitely nothing to laugh at, especially with Stab Dragon and Stab Flying, and now that we have the possibility of Z Fly as well, Dragonite's Flying Stab just got even scarier. It is technically a defogger, although it is not a very useful defogger, but the good news is that as of Ultra Sun and Moon, we can use defog Dragonite with multi-scale, so we're not forced to run Inner Focus, which is a much lesser ability than multi-scale, if we want to run defog on Dragonite, which is nice. In addition to the Stab Dragon and Stab flying that it gets some really interesting coverage moves as well, notably Aqua Jet, Aqua Tail, Brick Break, Earthquake, Extreme Speed, Fire Punch, Fire Blast / Flamethrower as well. Dragonite's special attacks that can also catch people off guard too, because it's not that bad. It's obviously, it's typically a physical attacker, but special attack is not out of the realm of possibility either. Focus Blast, Hurricane, Ice Beam, Ice Punch, Iron Head, Power Up Punch, Rock Slide, Stone Edge, Superpower, Thunderbolt, Thunder Punch, and Waterfall, and Surf. All kinds of cool stuff that Dragonite gets. Some really interesting support moves as well, probably the most notable being Haze and the Heal Bell, which probably won't be run on Dragonite very often, and of course the Defog I mentioned earlier, which probably won't be run on Dragonite very often, but it is a possibility. Dragonite provides us more priority with Extreme Speed and Aqua Jet, in addition to having setup capabilities with Dragon Dance and Agility to clean up games later. I think Dragonite's going to be very useful. It is a true fire resist that we don't have to rely on thick fat as a fire resist. We have a true fire resist, which is very useful. We don't really cover the ice weakness that Dragonite brings very well. Mamoswine with thick fat is a ice resist, but Venusaur and Celesteela are only neutral, so it's going to be a priority of mine to try to deal with the ice weakness that we have developed with Dragonite, in addition to the slight rocks weakness we have, which we don't do a very good job of patching up the rocks weakness later. You guys will see, but we tried, kinda, not really. The next mon on this team that we drafted is going to be Drunk Pony, the Keldeo. I really wanted Keldeo because it does cover the ice and rock weakness that Dragonite brings that our team otherwise can't handle quite yet. The base 129 special attack stat is definitely nothing to laugh at, especially from Stab, Focus Blast, Secret Sword, Scald, and Hydro Pump. The only bad thing about Keldeo I can really say is its special move pool is so lacking. You typically see this thing Specs or Scarf with like Scald, Hydro Pump, Secret Sword, and Icy Wind. Like, that's what you're limited to. Hidden Power is also another possibility. If Keldeo's attack stat was a little bit higher, I think this thing would be much more used much more, I guess is the proper way to say that, because it does have the capability of Swords Dance with Stab, Aqua Jet, Stab, Aqua Tail, and now Liquidation as well, and Stab Waterfall. Actually, it does not get Waterfall. Plot twist, haha, I did not know that. In addition to getting X Scissor and Stone Edge and Poison Jab as possible coverage moves, Stab Superpower is another possibility. I really wanted Keldeo because of that speed tier as well. 108 is the fastest thing we have drafted as of this point. It's going to be a nice mid-high speed tier that people are going to have to cover for. Overall, I think Keldeo is going to do excellent this season. I really like it with this team so far, and we do our best to patch up the weaknesses that Keldeo does bring. Like I said, we have developed a slight Psychic and Flying weakness now. Actually, like I said, I haven't said that yet. We have developed a slight Psychic and Flying weakness, even with the likes of Celesteela. Celesteela being our only resist to both of those typings, and Venusaur and Keldeo being weak to both of those typing. So I really wanted Metagross for this pick, but it did unfortunately get sniped. Would have been another Rock Setter, in addition to being a Flying and Psychic resist all in one mon. So we're going to have to break that up into several different mons, and just kind of, pick and choose things we want and put them onto this mon. Is kind of the best way I can describe it. So the first one we got to help with these weaknesses is Easy Bake our Rotom-Heat. Another true fire resist to help with Celesteela, and another electric resist to help with Celesteela as well. Rotoms are all known for doing the same thing, being stupid fat and hitting things with its pretty good special attack stat. Slow volt switching. Rotom-Heat has really strong fire stab with Overheat. The Rotoms also did get Defog in Ultra Sun and Moon, so that is another hazard removal option that we do have. Slow volt switches, like I mentioned, in addition to having some okay coverage moves. Like, it's not excellent, but they are notable with Dark Pulse, Shadow Ball, Sucker Punch, and Signal Beam. Rotoms are also all known for being able to use all three main statuses effectively with Thunder Wave, Will-O-Wisp, and Toxic. Rotom is just going to be a very nice utility Pokemon. It is a flying resist with that electric typing. It is also a ground immunity, with the ability to levitate, so the quad weakness that it would typically have with electric and fire is patched up instantly with its ability. Oh, excuse me. Lunch is coming back to haunt me. I really like Rotom on this team. I think it's going to be excellent. We have completed our Fire, Water, Grass core. We have started our Steel Dragon Fairy core that you see so many people drafting with high priority. We do draft a Fairy type later in the draft, but not quite yet. So we have our Flying Resist. Now we need a Psychic Resist, and I really wanted a good special wall because we don't have a dedicated special wall at this point. Venusaur and Celesteela are kind of mixed walls, so is Rotom. So I want to get a special wall and a physical wall at some point, like dedicated, in addition to providing more utility that we do have. So the next one we drafted was Zelda the Meloetta. A Psychic type that is immune to Ghost is very useful. Being only weak to Bug and Dark is also very useful. We have a Dark Resist with Keldeo, and we have tons of Bug resists. Like, I'm like the exact opposite of worried about Bug. That base 128 special attack and special defense stat is going to be very clutch. Meloetta is a very good Assault Vest user. With Stab Psychic, Stab, Anti-Shock, and Stab Hyper Voice. In addition to getting moves like U-Turn for pivoting, coverage moves with coverage moves with Dazzling Gleam, Energy Ball, Focus Blast, Shadow Ball, and Thunderbolt. And in addition to getting some nice utility moves with Heal Bell, and screens. It just gets light screen. It does not get reflect. My bad. I did not know that. In addition, Meloetta also does have its alternate form, the Pirouette form. So if I use the move Relic Song, which, by the way, with Serene Grace, has a 20% chance to put my opponent to sleep, which is free setup, free whatever I want to do. Those 128s that are in special attack and special defense go to attack and speed, just like that. So it becomes a high speed tier, very good physical attacker with Stab Return and Stab. Close combat in addition to getting moves like Knock Off, Stone Edge, Shadow Claw, the Elemental Punches for coverage moves. Drain Punch in close combat, a really good fighting stab. I'm very excited Meloetta is here. It's a good Psychic Resist that our team will help our team tremendously with Venusaur and Keldeo, and provides a lot of utility that we can use very nicely. So the next mon on this team that we drafted is going to be Ragnarok, our Aerodactyl, which is going to be our second Z user. I chose this as the second Z user because of Z Fly, mostly. Aerodactyl, it has very lackluster flying stab, but with Z Fly, it's now much more prominent. In addition to using Continental Crush, meaning I will never miss that Stone Edge, and it's much more powerful. Aerodactyl is both a rock setter and a defogger, so that takes the rock setting pressure off of Mamoswine a little bit, and takes the defogging pressure off of Rotom and Dragonite a little bit. Really useful utility moves with things like Whirlwind, Taunt, and Tailwind. Roost for recovery. It gets the Reflect, so maybe Light Clay Aerodactyl and Light Clay Meloetta could be coming this season. Watch out for it. I'm telling you now, it's happening. Not gonna happen. Set up with Hone Claws. Going to be very useful with the likes of Stone Edge being so inaccurate. Boosting our attack while boosting our accuracy is going to be really nice. Setup possibilities with agility as well. Some really interesting coverage moves. Things like Aqua Tail, Crunch, Earthquake, Fire Fang, Ice Fang. I believe it gets Thunder Fang too. Yes, it does. In addition to Iron Head and Pursuit. Pursuit trapping the Psychic types that our team is a little bit weak to at this point as well is going to be very useful. I'm actually very excited about Aerodactyl. I've wanted to use this thing for a very long time. I actually wanted to use Aerodactyl back in NPL Season 2, but it was taken way early, and we got Archeops instead, which Archeops is now one of my favorite Pokemon of all time. But it's nice to be able to use Aerodactyl. I'm very excited for it. The next mon on this team that we drafted is the return of Scorpio the Drapion. Last season in NPL Season 4, we did pick up Drapion mid-season in a trade from Mr. Kapurka and the Amazon Wall Rainforests. And we did finish the season with it. So it's back on our team, only having one weakness to ground that we cover very nicely with the likes of Celesteela, Dragonite, Rotom, and Aerodactyl. In addition to Venusaur not really caring about ground types, is very nice. Hazards with Toxic Spikes. Oh, excuse me. It's another taunt setter and a decently fast taunt setter at base 95. 95 is a speed tier we hadn't hit yet. So that's going to be very, very, very clutch. Stab Poison Jab and Stab Knockoff hurt so hard, in addition to Stab Pursuit and Stab Night Slash if I want to use those, or Crunch. Interesting coverage moves like Aqua Tail, Earthquake, Fire Fang, Ice Fang. I don't believe it gets Thunder Fang. It does. Wow, plot twist. It does. X Scissor, Rock Slide as well. In addition to getting moves like Swords Dance and Agility for setup. It's just going to be so useful. I really wanted a good Dark type as a Ghost Resist because of what I have planned for the end of the draft. In addition to Drapion only having one weakness and some decent abilities, I think that's going to be very nice for our team. The next mon we ended up drafting is Comfey, Moana, or Comfey, excuse me. We have completed our Fairy Dragon Steel Core at this point now. With Dragonite, Celesteela, and now Comfey. Comfey was tier 5, which is something I was very surprised to see. I think it's a good tier 4. But Comfey is yet another defogger, so we are up to 4 defoggers. We did not draft a Rapid Spinner, but we have 4 defoggers, so I think that's going to be okay. I hope so. That ability Triage or Triage, however you pronounce it, is really interesting. It gives priority to all healing moves. So I had priority Synthesis and priority Draining Kiss, in addition to being able to use moves like Dazzling Gleam and Defog. Grass Knot, it gets Leech Seed, Grass Knot, Giga Drain, and Energy Ball for coverage as well. That's really about it. It's really just limited to Fairy and Grass. U-turn for pivoting, and some interesting support moves, things like Taunt, Trick, Tailwind, Leech Seed, Heal Bell, and Aromatherapy. So Comfey is going to be a good utility mon. I really wanted it because it was like the last good fairy left, quote unquote good. It was probably the best fairy in tier 5, and by probably I mean definitely. It's a good special wall in addition to the physical wall that we just picked up with Drapion that cover each other's weaknesses okay. I think Comfey is going to be very useful on our team. I'm very excited to use it, honestly. I never thought I'd be excited to use like a lay, whatever. The final one that we drafted for this draft of NPL Season 5 is Iron Giant, our Golurk. Really the main reason I wanted this is because I really like having ghost types on the team as a spin blocker worst case scenario. Like, I think it's absolutely necessary to have a ghost type on every draft I take. And I wanted a ghost type that got rocks, and this fit the bill. I want to take the pressure of rocking off of Aerodactyl and Mamoswine a little bit. And Golurk fit the bill. It is also the slowest thing that we drafted, so 55 is going to be our low speed tier for here, which isn't bad. Ideally, I want to go like 30 to 130, but there was no good rock setting ghost types, not rock ghost, rock setting ghost types left. We cover Golurk's weaknesses decently. Really, the main weakness that we don't cover is water. With the 11 that we drafted, we do have a slight water and slight rock weakness, which hazards aren't going to be a big deal because we do have 4 defoggers, but I'm just nervous about taking like a Stab Stone Edge, is what I mean. Like I said, it does get Stealth Rock and some really interesting physical offensive capabilities with Iron Fist and No Guard. No Guard, Dynamic Punch, Iron Fist, Drain Punch, and Shadow Punch, in addition to getting all the elemental punches, Fire Punch, Ice Punch, Thunder Punch. Interesting coverage moves like Stone Edge, Zen Headbutt, Power Up Punch, and Stab Earthquake, of course. And it also gets Hammer Arm and Superpower. So those are just a couple of the things that Golurk can do. Again, I think this is going to be a really good, like, bulky physical attacker. I think it was the best Mon that was left that fit what we needed, which was another Rock Setter and a Ghost type and a Slow Threat. Oh, excuse me. So yeah, I'm very happy with Golurk. I'm very happy with this team. This is going to conclude our NPL Season 5 draft analysis. If you guys did enjoy, a like and a subscription would be much appreciated. Week 1, I believe, starts in January, and we take on the Chicago Caracosta as one of the new coaches this season, and Omega Jolteon. So hopefully I will be recording that. But anyways, if you guys did enjoy, like and a subscription would be much appreciated, and I will see you in the next one. Later.